Algebra 1, Learning Target 2, Solving Multi-Step Equations. First example. So the first thing we want to do is we want to combine like terms on each side. And when we do that, what we have to do is we have to sometimes use the distributive property and add like terms. In this case, whenever we see parentheses, we know we have to use the distributive property. Why? Because parentheses means to multiply. Okay. So what we want to do is, in this case right here, we want to try to get rid of those parentheses. So we're going to go ahead and use the distributive property. Okay, so we're going to take 2 times 4x, which is 8x. Then 2 times -3, so that'll be -6. And then go ahead and bring everything else down. We got rid of the parentheses, so we're good to go. So at this point right now, what we have to do is we have to add like terms on each separate side. Okay, so on this side, what are our like terms? Well, our like terms are just the plain old numbers. Those are like terms. So we have 8x, and so since the signs are the same, we add and keep the sign of the same. So we go ahead and add those together. Now on this side, we don't have any like terms, so we can go ahead and just bring everything down. So now at this point, at this step right now, what we want to do is we want to put the variables on one side and the numbers on the other side. Okay. And what we want to do is, the key is we want to keep the variable positive. Keep the variable positive. So when we do that, is we look for the larger number. So over here, the 8x is larger, the larger positive number. And so this positive 8x is larger, so let's move this 2x to the other side. By doing that, we have to use the opposite operation and go ahead and match them up because they're like terms. And so those 2x will cancel, and we get 6x minus 14 equals just 4. So we already moved the variable to one side. Now we have to move the number to the other side. So here we're going to use our opposite operation, which is a positive 14. And then we're left with 6x equals 18. And then go ahead and do the opposite operation, and x is equal to 3. Good job. Example 2. 1/4 times 8x plus 16 plus 2x equals 3x minus 2. Okay. So we're in the same situation. We have parentheses. We know that the parentheses we have to multiply. So when we do that, here we're going to distribute or multiply this 1/4 times 8x. So when we do that, 1/4 times 8x, that's really over 1. This becomes 8x over 4. Just multiply across. So technically, whenever you have a fraction, what you're really doing is you're really dividing. I know it can be really confusing because right now we're multiplying 1/4 times 8 over x. So here it is right there. Here's our explanation. 1/4 times 8x over 1. So we're going to go ahead and get 8x over 4. And so we're really dividing 8 divided by 4 gives us 2x. And so let's do the same thing here. So it's plus, and that's really 1/4 times 16 over 1. We multiply across, and that's going to give us 16 over 4, which is 16 divided by 4, which gives us 4. And we bring it down, plus 2x equals 3x minus 2. So remember, what are we doing here? We're going to go ahead and combine like terms. Okay, combine like terms. So we see here that our like terms are the x's this time. So since they have the same sign, we're going to go ahead and add them and keep the same sign. There's no like terms on this other side, so I'm just bringing them down. So now I can go ahead and remember, we want to keep the variable positive. We want to keep the variable positive. So we're going to move this smaller to the larger. So we're going to subtract 3x, subtract 3x. So we're left with x plus 4 equals -2. And use the opposite operation to move this 4 to the other side, and x is equal to -6. All done.